it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Today I've got some Paisley and Posy cards to share with you. These are the cards that I designed with the Paisleys and Posy stamp set for my September Stamp of the Month Club. You can get more information at juliedavison.com/clubs to find out about this club. But each month I choose a new stamp set, and then I have a card kit to make 3 different cards. So these are the cards for the September kit to go with this fun new stamp set, but this is the one I wanted to show you. It's really, really cool. It's called the Peekaboo flip card, and when you open it up, it flips to a new design. So it looks really complicated and really awesome, and it's not really that hard if you know the measurements. So today I wanted to give you some tips and show you how to make this card. So we're going to start with a sheet of 8.5 by 11 Delightful Dijon, and we're going to score with our paper trimmer at 5.5. Then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to cut at 4 1/4. So this is cutting it in half lengthwise. So I've got essentially 2 cards, and now we're going to cut them just a little bit. So the first one I'm going to cut at 8 1/4. So I have 5.5, and then I have a 2 3/4 inch flap there. And so this one we're going to save for another card. And then the other piece I'm going to cut at 5 3/4. So what you'll end up with is the 5.5 and then a little 1/4 inch tab. And then this piece will also save for another card. So we've got these 2 pieces, and then we've got one more. We've got a piece of Very Vanilla, and this is 8.5 by 4 1/4, scored at 4 1/4. So you have a 4 1/4 inch card with the Very Vanilla cardstock. So these are the 3 main pieces that you're going to need to make this card. And the first thing you want to do is create the window. So we're going to use the 2-inch circle punch. And first we're going to punch on the Delightful Dijon piece. So I've got the 2 3/4 inch flat folded over. It's on my left side. I'm going to open up the punch, and I'm going to punch the 2-inch window. I'm going to come all the way in with the cardstock, and I've got just like 1/8 of an inch or so, not quite a 1/4 inch on the side. So you're not actually punching the flap, and you want to make sure not to punch the flap. But you're kind of using that as a guide because you want to go right in that center of the space, and then I found just moving it over a little bit gives it a little more room on the front. So we're going to punch that, and then we're going to take a pencil and the Very Vanilla cardstock, and we're going to line up the open ends all together. So we've got the open end here, and I'm going to take the pencil and trace the opening so that I know where to punch. And then I'll take the Very Vanilla cardstock in the 2-inch circle punch, and I'll punch. And if you find that you are not able to get through both layers, you can go ahead and just punch one layer and then again draw another circle and punch the second layer. But I find the Very Vanilla cardstock is a little bit not as thick, so it's easier to do 2 pieces. Okay, so now we've got our cardstock pieces. This is going to be the back, this is the front of the card, and this is the inside. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. I'm going to show you how to assemble the card, and I've already stamped those pieces. So we just saw those same pieces. Here I've stamped the inside with a little border using the Paisley and Posy stamp set, and I've still got my window. And then on the front I decorated again with some of the stamps, and then I added a little bit of designer paper and the little border here. And then on the back piece I just added a piece of tear and tape. You can use any adhesive. Fast Fuse would work well, or the Tombow multi adhesive. The liquid adhesive you might find has a little more control. I just don't like it because it's messy. Okay, so the first thing to do as we put this card together, we're going to close the Very Vanilla card. So as you would open it, we're just going to close it, and we're going to put adhesive on the front of the card, which is it's the front of this card, but it's not really the front of our card. So then we're going to line up where we have the adhesive with the window on the Delightful Dijon card front. So we're going to line up those 2 circles. and give it a good rub. Okay, so we've got our flap here is not going to glue down to anything, and this flap is not going to glue to anything either. Okay, so there's our card front, and then it opens up, and this is the back of the card, and we're going to cover up the back of the card with the other Delightful Dijon piece. So this piece here is going to fold over and adhere to the Very Vanilla cardstock. Okay, so we're going to tear off the tear and tape. I actually cut this in half lengthwise, so it wasn't as thick because it's such a narrow piece there. And we're going to line up and adhere that cardstock to the Very Vanilla. So we have kind of a zigzag, right? So this is to the back, then we've got our front, and then when you open it up, this folds in. Okay, it looks like we have, my cardstock was just a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to take scissors and just trim that edge so it's flush. Okay, so now to put our Peekaboo elements in, I have a piece of designer paper. My original card, I used the petals or Paisleys and petals paper, but I ran out, so I'm just using this other piece of Mint Macaron in color designer paper. It doesn't really matter, but I just cut a bigger circle than the 2-inch. You could also use a square here, it doesn't matter, but we're going to line that up behind the window, and it's going to glue to the back side here. So I'm just using the window as a guide, and it's actually glued to that back piece. Okay, then this flap should be tucked in, and when you open the card, it comes out. So the inside piece here is what we're going to glue down, and we're just going to use regular snail adhesive. You don't want to add dimension to this because you don't want it to get caught up when it's trying to flip. So I'm just going to center that in the window, and you can see when it opens, it just flips right in place. And then the last thing is to add our little die cut paisley, and you could use the fine tip glue here. I'm kind of lazy, so I'm just going to do a little bit of snail and put that right, so it's kind of covering that window a little bit, little peek there. And then one last final touch, I'm just going to add some rhinestones. You can use the paper piercing tool or your fingers and transfer those to the paisley, so it kind of goes just in between those tracks. And so there's the finished card, and you open it up and it just peeks. Peekaboo! So easy, isn't that fun? I hope that you like this card and that you'll give it a try at home. Thanks so much for watching. Happy stamping!